Welcome back to the channel. It has been a while since I've actually updated anything on this, but I thought I would do my own car for a change. This is my daily driver that I drive every day, but it's got a couple of problems with it. I'm going to do a little mini service on it. I've done one for a while, and also there's a bush at the back which I have been putting off. I've done the other side already yesterday, but I had some family things that I needed to deal with, so I couldn't do the other side. So I thought I'd film that instead, show you what I've got to do. And also I've got to change the wing mirror because it's all smashed up on one side, and the second wing mirror that I got, I found out that the mirror glass, it's just a stick on one, so I had to source one of those. So I'm going to go show you what I've got to do, and there's some other little jobs I've got to do on the vehicle as well, but I won't be doing them today because I haven't got certain hardware to do what I want to do with it. But I'll show you what I would like to do if I had it today, but obviously I can't, but I'll show you quickly. So you've probably seen this on some of the other videos. Now this piece here is cracked along there. I haven't got a hot staple gun, so I was going to fix it from the other side, but I've got to take the bumper off so I can put the BTC racing rubber fin things that broke off when I leaned on them. I haven't actually they're in the car, but I haven't nothing as well. There is an odd clunking noise that keeps coming from the front. I'm not quite sure what's coming from there. I mean, it's not a drop link, it's not an arm. I pushed and pulled it yesterday, can't really seem to find any issues with it. So I've got a feeling it's actually the top mount, because I remember when I did the springs and suspension on this maybe 18 months ago, and it was a little bit tight and it was a bit notchy, so it may well be that. I've got one coming, so I should see that in about 3/4 of an hour, and then I can tackle that one. But let's tackle the rear bush at the back, and you'll see that in a moment. Now that it's on the ramp, you can see that obviously that it's on there. Now the problem with these particular vehicles is because it has a body kit on it, it has these plastic covers up here. Oh, let's get some light on this situation. Can't see. Oh, that's not my. There you go. So you've got the plastic covers here, sorry, the plastic mounts, and they're all sitting up quite high, and it's very difficult to get this on the ramp. Yesterday it was a bit of a pain to get on there, so I couldn't get the ramp, doesn't quite fit on there properly, and it wants to hit everything. It's touching a little bit there, but it's not actually doing any damage. Okay, so what I did yesterday was I changed this bush here, and I was looking at it thinking, how on earth am I going to go and change this? And then I realised that it's a blade, and it actually holds on with 3 Torx socket style bolts, and it for here as well. And then I just measured it with what I've got, and it was pretty straightforward to do, but you can never tell if something's actually going to come out nicely, and then you have to sort of work as you see it, because you can never tell. Now it's the same story over here. I'm going to have to do the same thing. These bushes here have seen better days. Why is this not focusing correctly? Might be because it's trying to focus on the light. So these bushes here have seen better days. You can't move them with your fingers, but when you get a bar on it, they start moving side to side. And bearing in mind that they're probably the same. They're going to be the same age as the vehicle. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to change them anyway. Now the other things I did notice as well, this arm here, this bushing here has seen better days as well, so that I may see if I can change the bush in this or just get a completely new arm. It may just be more beneficial. They do look like they're metallastic bushes with a metal sleeve inside, so I can only imagine that that one there can be changed for that, but it may just be cheaper or might just be easier just to go and get an entire arm, assuming that when I try to explain it to the parts place I can actually buy one of them. Sometimes these bushes are only a couple of quid online, if you can even find them. Sometimes you can't even buy them. Right, well, oh yeah, the other thing that I did notice on this as well is it is blowing slightly on the exhaust. The exhaust has seen better days. It is starting to rust all the way down here. So I was considering getting a stainless steel one, but this is my daily driver. I haven't modified this vehicle at all. Everything on this vehicle is standard. It's even got brand new shock absorbers from Vauxhall. I got them at a steal. You can't even buy them for the amount of money that I paid for the pair of them. Apparently Vauxhall told me that the parts supplier that gave them to me shouldn't have sold me them at that price, and I got them at that price. So I'm not complaining. It is what it is, and that's what I paid for them. Everything else is standard on this. This is a BTC vehicle. It has all the BTC stuff on it. It doesn't have the plaque in it, but apparently it doesn't actually have to have the plaque on it to be an official BTC vehicle. It is the particular number plate or something like that. I won't pretend to know everything about them. Anyway, let's crack on with that. So first of all, I need to go and remove this handbrake piece here. As you can see, it's been on there for about 1,000 years and it's not going to come off easy. So I've got to heat it up from the other side. I'm going to use some propane torch and then try and get it off. Hopefully it doesn't snap, but we shall see. What do you know? It's rotten. I'll be changing that for a normal bolt. It's a bit knackered. So now this is the rear section of the arm, and I'm going to go and get those 4 Torx sprockets undone. Well, I'm not going to fully undo them because the whole thing will come down. I don't really want to do that, so I've got to use a jack that I'll show you in a second. So that section's down. I actually marked it here and here, so then when it goes up, or when I put it back together, it goes back better than it did. Or so should I say, I can align it. Because the bolt goes through the bush and it's up there, you've got to make sure you get it in the right place, because what they do is when you put it up, it actually starts to move. You don't really want it to move. Okay, let's go to the other side. Okay, so the issue that I faced with the other side when I actually done it was the fact that you've got this bolt here and the anti-roll bar is actually in the way. So how I actually done it was kind of pushed the socket on there and just banged it on, and it moved it out of the way and it was okay. I had to move the shock absorber slightly out of the way because there's a bolt just here, it's just like here. Oh, you can see it's right there actually. So you can you just move the shock out of the way, and it moves quite nicely. But I have to use one of those to push the suspension up because stupidly when I moved it yesterday I didn't have it underneath it and the whole thing collapsed down. I don't know why I thought that it was going to stay there. Clearly it wasn't thinking straight, but I'm going to jack that up. That's one. Where somewhere. That's one. Right, this one here is a little bit more tricky because the anti-roll bar's in the way, so I had to kind of push it up in the air. Get it on. Sort of. That's another one. Now, before I forget, there's the ABS wire that sits here, and I've got to try and prise that out. I don't really want to damage it. I nearly forgot about it on the other side and I nearly pulled it out. Nearly ripped my ABS wire out. And it's out. Right, now that I have it off, as you can see, it's in the vise now, so just so I can keep it so it doesn't fly anywhere. When I'm trying to undo it, I'll see if I can get a better angle on that. It does look a little bit odd. Trying to... Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I've got a 18mm spanner, and then I can undo it from the other side. I'm going to get the air gun on it. And then hopefully it should come off. Allegedly. He says, try not to knock the camera. Now you probably can't see that, but the bush is moving, but you've got to imagine when you've got your car moving underneath, that's probably doing a lot worse underneath. Okay, so that is out. Right. Looks like this side's a lot worse than the one I took out on the driver's side. It's all starting to come away. You can imagine that when you're driving, you probably can feel that, or it's going to be moving the rear of the car, because you can see where these little bump stops are. So that is supposed to stop the movement that way. So when it's on the car, so let's try and see if we can do a reenactment. If it's on the car, it's going to be moving this way all the time and hitting there. Now what I did, because there's actually no there's nowhere where you can put this bush anywhere on this, but you got to make sure you put it in the right place. So what I did yesterday is I just marked the metal, and then when I pushed the bush out through the press over there, I could put it back roughly in the place where it was. So let me go and find a scribe or something just to put something on it so I can see where it goes. Scribe a little square sort of thing, so it kind of looks like that. Probably can't see that. So I used the little square that's currently there, and then I can just meet it up in that point. I could do it on the other side as well, I suppose. And then okay, so it's kind of like that. Right, let's go over to the press. And to press it out with the press is the piece that I need to use here to press this in is roughly the same sort of size here. So when you try and press it in, it actually starts getting forced into the arm. And some may say, oh, why don't you just smash it out in the vise? But you don't really want to hit this with a hammer, because this is obviously just a flat piece of metal. It has got a strengthening bulge in it, but how do you know you haven't bent it or moved it around? You don't really want to do that. So it's best practice to try to do your best and get it through. And I've got some other sized ones here, so then when eventually I get it out, I'll just use the press again and level it up, and then I can push it through. So let's get this on there. Don't worry too much the fact that it's on a bit of an angle. That's not going to really cause it much of a problem. It will make a clunking noise, what it normally does. Wherever the arm, I can't find the arm. Where's the arm? Where's the arm? This is a very, very old press, and it has seen better days, but it still works. Works as it should. So let's get this down so you can see. what you got to do as well is check to see how far it's out on the when it's outside here. What I used to get a rough guide was this. So then if I put it up to the side of it, it was roughly about that kind of thickness all the way around. So the thickness of that all the way around there, and then I knew I was roughly there, which was handy. The other thing that you've got to keep in mind when you're actually putting this together is what part, which part, when you're pressing this back in, which part was the further one outward, or the smaller lip that was on either side. So in this particular instance, the lip was further out over here than it was on this side. So when I actually do the measurement, I've got to do it on this side opposed to this side. Now that's all in, I've just got to measure it to make sure that it's almost there. So let's get that in camera. Are we slightly? So I'll tell you what, push it back down a little bit further on one side and we'll carry on. Doesn't need much, just a little bit. Whoops. Well, that's pretty much there. Okay, now let's go over to the vise and get this bit back together. So we're in the vise now, and because this is kind of upside down and round the wrong way, there's a good chance I'm going to put this around the wrong way. I did it with the other side, I did the bolt ring around the wrong way and it was touching the body, so I had to take it down, undo it, put it all back in again. So there's a good chance this is going to happen again. But we shall soldier on. Let's put some copper grease in there, and then you might remember that I marked it here, so we're going to roughly try to see if we can get it in the right place again. We'll get that in there. Fortunately, this has the added benefit that when you actually tighten it up, it stays where it wants to stay. So, because sometimes when you actually do something up, you undo it and it like flies that way or flies the other way. But on this particular instance, it didn't do it, so which was quite handy to say the least. Okay. I don't know if you remember me showing it on the other one. Now look at that. That's really tight. The other one, I could move it quite a lot. Now, can you imagine that when you got what, ton and a half trying to move down the street, or how much these motors cost weigh, and then you're moving that, and all that movement is moving this everywhere. So these bushes don't last an amazing amount of time. Right, shall we go over to the car and get this back in? you just saw me fit that rear arm there. Oh, that's so bright. God. See if we can make this a little bit better. I've got to use a torch because the halo on that doesn't work anymore. Batteries have just died. So, right, okay. Now I'm going to do a little mini service. I've got to charge up the other battery because it's just died on me. Whilst it's warming up, we can carry on and do the leg and sorry, not the leg, the top mount. I've got that one in, and then after that, got to do the passenger driver's side wing mirror. I had to go and get a glass. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier on. I ordered that in. I had to order everything because it's New Year's Eve. Everything closes quite early, so right, let's go and do the mini service, and you're going to watch me do that. So I figured whilst that's warming up, as you can see I've got it running. You saw me do the fuel filter a moment ago, making a mess everywhere. So I'm going to do the strut top mount on this side whilst it's warming up. So it's probably going to take about 10-15 minutes to do that. And we will move on. If you would like to skip ahead for the next 7 or so minutes, I left the car running to warm up the engine for the oil change. The added unfortunate side effect is the camera picked up most of the engine running in the background. Sorry about that. Now that's out, I'm going to turn it off and then drain the oil at the same time whilst I'm decompressing the spring in the spring press. So I've put, this is the new one, and that's the new top mount as well. So somehow I've got to try and get that back in. Went in a bit easier than I was expecting. We shall see if that works. Let's go back to putting it back together. Right, now, last piece of the jigsaw puzzle is the wing mirror. Some of you may be wondering why I'm actually doing this, because it doesn't look too bad condition, but something looks like it's happened to it in the past. As you can see, it's all broken and things like that. So I've got a second-hand one which is in the passenger chair, and I'm going to see how it comes off. Looks like I've got to go and take the entire door trim off. Okay, so it's 2 days later. I had to get New Year's out of the way. I hope everybody had a good New Year. Now, I have to try and work out how to take this door card off. And some of them are popped in, some of them are not, some of them are screwed in as well. So we're going to go and try and see if we can work out how to get it off. Bit lucky, could have broken that off by mistake. So we've got some torque sockets by the looks of things. Let's see if I can find my torch. Oh, I've broken something off. No, I haven't. No. Okay. Right, let's go and get a torque socket. Now you can see that it's quite easy to get to now. Unfortunately, I had a bit of a hazard on one of them. I broke one of the clips that holds the door card on. There you can just see where it's broken on one side, because they're not the most easiest things to take out, especially when you can't see them. And it feels like you're going to snap all the or break all the door card off trying to get them out, because they're pretty vicious. So we'll carry on where we were before and try and get it out. and it's off. So some of you are probably wondering why I'm actually changing this. Now, my original one was all, if you remember rightly earlier on, I showed you it was all broken around here. So I wanted to get that new, and also the wing mirror, the glass, shall I say, was it wasn't a heated one, so it'd obviously been smashed in the past. So someone's put a stick on one in it, and funnily enough, the new one, well, the replacement one I got, the second-hand replacement one I got, also was smashed. So it wasn't heated either, so I had to go and get a new heated mirror, focus, and then I can put it all back together. So right now, that's that. So I'm going to put this back together now. I might give it a bit of a clean round here because it looks like a bit of a water trap too. So I'm going to do that quickly. The other thing that I wanted to look at as well was that look like one of the screw holes hasn't got any threads in it. That one there. Where is it? That one there. So I'm going to try and pilot drill a screw into it and see what it does. So that's not that one there. Looks like something goes in there. Can't knock it. It's got threads in there, just think it's a bit filthy, that was all. Okay, so as everybody hates the term, refitting is the way you took it off. So we'll put that back together. See if it can work. Well, that's a good start. I don't even think the electric mirrors work, but at least I know they heat up because the other side heats up. So, and I've just remembered I've got to take the door card off again, so I didn't do the internal lock. Work. Well, that's a good start. I don't even think the electric mirrors work, but at least I know they heat up because the other side heats up. So, and I've just remembered I've got to take the door card off again, so I didn't do the internal lock. Now that I'm putting it back together for the second time, and now the handle works. Although the mirror doesn't work, as I can't control it, doesn't want to move, but neither does the other side. So I thought they did move, but clearly not. It just must be another job that I've got to deal with, which I'm not looking forward to.